We are live.
Wonderful. Thank you, Catherine. Good evening. I'll call the meeting to order. This is the meeting of the Terrace Lodge Fundraising Committee on November 15th. It's now just after 7 and we're ready to go. So a review of the agenda. Everybody has a copy. Anything you'd like to add or change? And if not, I'll ask for a motion to move the agenda as is. Dan, all in favor? And do you need to call the vote?
I do. Pete Barber. Jim Jenkins.
Yes.
Jamie Chapman.
Yes.
Ruth Ann Perrin.
Yes.
Councillor Giguère.
Yes.
5-0, the motion is carried.
Thank you. So next on the agenda then is the adoption of our minutes from our last meeting, which was October 25th. Any errors or omissions? They did look pretty good to me. Again, we're very fortunate to have excellent minute takers, and so we have a nice record of each of our conversations. If there are no errors, then I'll again entertain a motion to adopt the minutes. Jim as a mover, seconder. Pete, and the vote.
Pete Barber.
Yes.
Jim Jenkins.
Yes.
Jamie Chapman.
Yes.
Ruth Ann Perrin.
Yes.
Councillor Giguère.
Yes.
5-0, the motion is carried.
Okay, disclosure of pecuniary interest. Anyone this month? Seeing none, we will move to our donation update with Jennifer. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you, Councillor Giguère, and to the committee through you. This month's report is not a lot to disclose this month, other than we have increased our donations by $575 since the last report. And we are continuing to monitor the pledge portal as cash donations come in, just for accuracy on that. And that's about all I have to share today. Not a lot of information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was only 3 weeks since the last time we met. So, and we didn't have any advertising. We didn't have any big push, as we discussed. It was a bit of the calm before the blitz of the holidays. So, yeah, so I'm not surprised there wasn't a ton of activity. So, but thank you for keeping us on track, Jennifer. And any questions or comments then of the committee? Good. So I'll entertain a motion to adopt the financial report from Jennifer. Ruth Ann, seconded by Jamie, and the vote, please.
Pete Barber.
Yes.
Jim Jenkins.
Yes.
Jamie Chapman.
Yes.
Ruth Ann Perrin.
Yes.
Councillor Giguère.
Yes.
5-0, the motion is carried.
Okay, so our next item is our media and advertising update. So I can turn it over to Jamie. I don't know if you wanted to let us know about the Domino's promo and how it came about, and thank you for linking us to that opportunity.
So it came about by, never be afraid to offer a poster.
Because you never know how it's going to turn out.
So I went in asking if they could, if I could put the poster up, and they said that they couldn't put anything up without their logo on it, but what they could do is a fundraiser. So it turned into much more than that, because not only on the 19th, $3 from 2 different orders go to the campaign, but also flyers are going out in the pizza boxes previously to that. So those flyers are going to get distributed to many homes that we might not have reached. And Catherine, they did go out in German as well, is that correct? Yeah. So they went out in English and German, which is very good as well. So, and they'll do it more than once. So it's not just a one-time event for us. So hopefully it not only brings us some revenue, but it also brings us some recognition. So,
Yeah. Yeah, so
so take the posters out.
yes, because you never know. So yeah, we thought that was a great opportunity. We didn't have a lot of time, but we thought let's jump on it before we launch into the our Christmas advertising. So a couple things. So then our first, we had talked about 6 ads for Christmas. And what we thought was the first ad, so this week on the 17th, we would use for the Domino's promotion. And then we'll kick off the other ones, like the official Christmas campaign, starting next week. And so we quickly, so the request, as Jamie mentioned, was for Domino's wanted a poster that they could put on the top, and they wanted it in German and in English, and with their logo. So we actually, so kind of faked it, but we didn't have a lot of time, but we basically merged because we had a version of the German poster and the English. So we made it work. And so staff, we printed in-house, I believe it was something like 800. So they requested 800 flyers. So since last week, I think it was going out with most orders. And so even though, so who knows what exactly in cash, what we will get. So it's $5 for the larger combo of, pop and 2 large pizzas, $3 for the medium combo. And, but, just to realize that there was a cost in-house in terms of printing, but that's 800 flyers that are going to people in their homes that we can reach. So people who we may not reach on social media, that may not get the Elmer Express, who may not shop at different places where we put our posters. So definitely an amazing opportunity. And so thank you, Jamie. And as you mentioned, with a little bit more lead time, so we can pick in advance future dates next year, possibly include, if I remember correctly, other locations, so that on the same date we could include St. Thomas and Port Stanley, or I can't remember where else on top of my head, but yeah, so with a little bit of more planning, they said they would accommodate that. They just need more time to talk to their franchisees and coordinate all that. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Great opportunity. Any thoughts, questions, comments? So we're good for that. So if you know anyone who likes to have pizza on a Friday night with their family, that would be a perfect opportunity to do that. And hopefully we'll drive additional traffic. That's the main idea, and raise awareness on the campaign. So we also mentioned the Christmas campaign. So I circulated the draft sort of taglines of the different texts, and change it up a little bit every week. We don't have the proofs for that yet to review, but at least we've got all of the content that you've approved. Tanya sent around some great pictures. It looks like, they're writing residents. So we have pictures of residents that kind of look like they're writing to Santa. And so I think they will turn out fantastic. So and then, so as soon as we have them, we'll do the same as we've done in the past. We'll circulate them to you, so you have a JPEG version, so you can put it on your own social media, or you can send it by email. Just the idea is, once we have the ad, we're not confined to putting it in the Elmer Express. We can reuse the ad as many places. We can do some printing if necessary. So it's definitely going to be a little Christmas blitz. Jim.
Yes, will there also be hard copy available so that we can drop off at various locations, or will it just be by internet?
What do you think, Catherine? Could we print?
We
A
can print
few.
a few.
Yeah. Yeah, let's arrange for that. Good idea. And it's like a mini flyer.
It might be nice to put a few in the home as well, just in case visitors are in and are wondering if what they can do for Christmas. So
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Okay. So we'll do almost like a poster version so we can switch it up. Nice. And as far as, because we won't have a lot of time, and I don't know if what the committee will decide in terms of our next meeting, but is the best way to, once we print them, we drop a bunch off at Terrace Lodge, assuming they're going to be properly labeled,
For the library.
or the library. Like for you, Jim, for example, like, or Pete, or anyone on the committee, what's the easiest way to pick them up?
Well, I volunteer at the hospital twice a week, so I could come into the county building and pick them up at that time, so.
Okay. Any other suggestions? Do we want to stack at the home and then some at the county office? So then whichever is closest to you, you could pick them up? Is that?
That makes
is
sense.
that- Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. How many copies do you think we need? Like, Jim, how many are you thinking? Do we print 100 for all of us or more?
I think that, well, the thing is, yeah, do 100. If we need more, it doesn't take long to print off a few more. Are we printing them at the county office, or are we going to get them?
Yeah, I think we can print them in-house. I'm also
So-
thinking that we have 5 different ads that are slightly different. I'll just find out if the Elmer Express is designing all of them at once, at which point then we can print different ones, or are we gonna get one, every week? Because they all say something just a little bit different. Maybe there's one that's more conducive for a poster, so, yeah, okay, we'll figure that out. We'll see which one is the best and which one we can get the soonest anyway. Okay. Okay, so as soon as we have those ready for pickup, we'll let all committee members know. Good idea, thank you. Anything else on those ads? And we'll come back to the actual strategy and the logistics in when we're down to number 8 on the fundraising strategy. So right now it's mainly the ads and the promotion, which we'll use those ads as the main tool for promotions for the next few weeks. Okay, any other comments on advertising? So between Domino's and those ads will be good. Donor recognition, again, we mentioned earlier there wasn't a lot of activity since our last meeting, so I don't think we had any other photos. It's all a blur from one week to another, but I don't recall any specific, organizing any specific recognition. I did notice from finance, I don't think Jennifer is with us, but it doesn't matter, but I started receiving, I don't know if you remember, for those who don't have an email address, then it goes to the treasurer. So last week, I think even it was on the Sunday, I got a whole batch of receipts. So those are, if you remember, we agreed that then we need to mail them out. So actually, so there were some that I had not sent the thank you card, so that would be perfect. I'll send the thank you card at the same time, and here's your receipt. And by the way, there's Christmas if you want to donate. If you want to donate again for your, on behalf of your loved ones. So that will be happening in the next week or so. So I've got my work cut out, my stash of, I said, I hope nobody's creating those on a Sunday. I'm hoping it was kind of a system thing that a whole batch of receipts were created. Anyway, so that's happening. So if there are no comments on donor recognition, And I think even the website is fairly up to date, Catherine, as far as matching, like we keep adding names on that sort of slideshow. So that's pretty much up to date. So as far as fundraising strategies, so a while back, we talked about our legacy, producing a legacy brochure. We talked about potential content, how we wanted to word it. Then we had Aylmer Express agree to produce it for us. Can you pass me one, Catherine? So for those online, I think Jenna circulated a copy of our flyer. So if you print it double-sided and then you fold it. A little activity for this interactive activity tonight. This is a mock-up, obviously, and you wouldn't have like a white frame in the final version. But I wanted to check with the committee if you approve of the final design. So content-wise, it's pretty much what we reviewed in the past. I think we fixed just a few words here and there. And the Aylmer Express did, reuse the photos that we have in our brochure, so it's consistent. And just did a much better job than the initial mock-up we had put together. Comments, questions?
Looks good.
Looks good.
Ready to go? Yeah, okay. So I'll give the green light we'll go to print for those. I think we had also talked about 100 copies, and we're going to get those little holder for the homes, and we talked about the libraries, I think we'll start with just a couple location.
Yeah, the library I think is a good idea.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it before until our pamphlets ended up at the library, Pete.
I heard that on Saturday night.
So, I just, there's lots of people that go through the library and can we use the St. Thomas Library as well?
I don't know. Doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah, it's run by the city, and we got the Springfield Library as well.
Yeah.
Are
So we
those
could
all
put
the
them in
ones?
all county libraries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and what Jamie is referring to is that I made a very poor attempt at delivering some
Your attempt was good.
I guess I wasn't very clear. I left an envelope at Terrace Lodge with the staff, but only with Pete. All it said on the envelope was Pete Barber or Jamie Chapman, and that was it. Because initially I thought it might be just within a few hours, that between the time that I was there and perhaps Pete, you were gonna pick them up, but I think it was a little bit later, and by the time, I guess everybody was wondering who the envelope was, so staff were very resourceful and then giving it to Mary, who then brought it to the library. Anyway, so they're well-traveled flyers, but I think they ended up in the right hands.
Yep, I got them today.
So lesson learned, so again, staff are very supportive and resourceful, but lesson learned for me, put proper instructions on the envelope. So my apologies for that. So that's why if we leave posters or for the Christmas ads, I'll leave clearer instructions on the envelope.
I have a question in relation to the will. So I'm just assuming that if this goes beyond the campaign timeframe, that it would just kind of continue on through Terrace Lodge as.
I believe so, because I think this is something that technically is always in place. Like you can, especially with Elgin County having charity status, So perhaps at the end of the campaign, the decision will be in terms of the branding, whether you close the comforts of home and then do a
Something
more
else.
generic version. But now that this brochure has been created, you can sort of remove the comforts of home portion of it, and then you still have something that you can use at all the homes.
Perfect.
Doesn't the comforts of home continue though?
That's right.
Because, I mean, you still need the renewal of the, your Netflix.
Technology packages, yeah.
Yeah, your subscriptions, you still need, and for the Abbey and all that stuff, so
right.
it could be ongoing for the comforts of home. And your chairs are gonna need to be replaced.
That's right.
Well, they don't last forever,
That's right.
so.
So it'll be a perpetual campaign.
Yes.
But I'm just saying, I'm not gonna be the perpetual chair. I really want to give the opportunity to others. So, yeah, there will be, a
Yeah.
decision to make at the end of the campaign. This is a 3-year campaign, and then how do we move forward? So how do you,
That's kind of what I assumed. I just thought in case somebody asks or
yeah, it's not a finite,
term, right? So, yeah.
good question, yeah. Okay.
And
so
this
is
is Michelle. I
yes.
have a question as well. And we may have covered this off and maybe I'm just forgetting, but should we consider having something at the funeral homes, the local funeral homes? Sometimes people are looking for opportunities when they go to make a donation if it hasn't been specified in the obituary. So just throwing that out there, I'm not too sure if that's been discussed in the past or not.
Yeah, I think we did that. Good reminder. Yeah, it's been a while since we initially discussed this concept. So I think it's worth asking, at least at the home, if this is something they would be willing to have ready. So yeah, let's make a note of that. Great. And so I'm making note, St. Thomas Library will ask in case, and then funeral homes. And are you thinking, Michelle, of just locally, just a couple of funeral homes? Where people would
Well-
recognize Terrace Lodge?
Yeah, I think probably. I mean, if I look at the obituaries, we have residents that use the one in Elmer, but there's also St. Thomas and Tilsonburg. So
Okay.
less frequent Tilsonburg, I think, but there's opportunities there.
Great. Excellent. Okay, so that's great. That's moving along. And so thank you for your input on that. Our next item, our next strategy is the greeting card. So the other piece that circulated was also a mock-up of the card based on what we discussed at. So again, this is just a mock-up. It would be more the size of other cards that we've had. And so the idea is that they are generic, so they're not for Christmas per se. So that way we'll be able to use them for any occasions, for any birthdays, for any Mother's Days, Valentine's Day. But we'll be able to customize them throughout the year, and we can put a little note or a little piece of paper or a sticker on the envelope to make it more about Christmas. And but so this is essentially what it would look like. So any feedback
Just,
on?
I'm not clear on this. It looks great. It's not that. So if someone's giving it as a donation, as a gift in the name of someone else, I know that the receipt has to be given in the donor's name.
Yep.
But how do we get these to the
The honorary apparently is the
Yes.
technical term.
Yes.
Yeah, so now I believe the website our donation website has been updated. If you click on this is a gift, you will get another section to add the name and the address
Okay.
of the
And then
recipient.
it'll get sent out by.
Yes, and
Okay.
then you have a choice of, you can say, I want the card. So we'll give it to you, and then, so you'll receive this card, but then you give it, and maybe you
Okay.
want to put it under the Christmas tree for your family member. or you can click on send the card to the person directly.
And then the address.
And then our elves, which we'll discuss in a moment, will write the card and send it out.
Okay.
So you have the chance, either you sign it yourself or you sign it, either way, you will get a thank you card as the donor. Yeah. So let's finalize the card. As far as the content, everybody's good with the design? So nice and simple, and we figured we would put at the back, because the recipient of this greeting card may not have known about the Terrace Lodge campaign. So we thought, right, because like I know about the campaign, but I'm giving you a gift and you may not know. So we put extra information at the back of the card, because that person may want to also look up, oh, what's this about? And start a chain reaction of giving. Okay, so if everybody's good with the card, I'll give the green light to Elmer Express, and there's gonna be, they're printing envelopes. Well, that will have the logo, so that's nice. So let's look at the, just the logistics. So we've already talked about the fact that now the website is already set up, so thank you to Catherine and the IT team. That's ready to go. If you are taking a donation on paper, if you're taking a check, so just remember, we haven't printed, or we haven't sent out additional forms for you to fill out. We can do that if you'd like, but you need to remember to get 2 addresses. You need the address of the greeting card recipient, the honoree, and you need the address and all the details, phone number, email, particularly of the donor for the tax receipt. So now you need 2 addresses, names and address. We talked about last time, I believe it was Jim's suggestion, as far as sending the cards, and so signing them and sending them to the honorees. We talked about involving the residents of Terrace Lodge. I think is a great idea. Tanya, you seem to indicate that would be feasible. So wanted to clarify, so is everybody still okay with that approach? Just before we started the meeting, we were chit-chatting about this and trying to decide who would sign the card. And do we want a generic, for example, the residents of Terrace Lodge, or if it's a resident, Marta is writing the card that day, she's our little elf working on the greeting cards. Does she sign, Marta, and on behalf of the residents, which may be more personal and very tangible, that this is a real resident sending the card? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I have one thought in the sense that if the resident council president she's voted in, right now it's a she, but that individual's voted in as the president. She does represent the residents in the home, so she, as I said, currently a she, would be a good, to me, a representation of the residents in the home. And so she would be a good choice, I think, for signing the cards, if she's willing, and depending how many there are. Maybe along with other residents, even from the resident council or other residents, but that would be, from my perspective, a good start. I'm fairly sure she'd be willing, and she'd be proud to sign those cards, I would think.
Nice. Jim?
I like that idea, but I would also add, after her signature, on behalf of the residents of Terrace Lodge.
Yes, yes,
That way you're including
yes.
them.
Yeah, she would be, I think the best is, I agree, is having her sign it, but she's signing it on behalf of the residents and the resident
Yes.
council. Yeah, definitely, not just her signature, because people I don't think would necessarily, know who she was. So yeah, I agree. I think that, kind of a little blurb about, right? We could maybe write that in, depending her comfort level, and writing, and she just signs it, right?
Right.
So we could have it be kind of a standard message that everybody's getting, and then with the signature.
Yeah.
Does that sound reasonable?
I think that's better still.
Yeah.
Then it's not putting a lot of pressure on
A lot of pressure, right? Write a whole blurb each time, but then we could have a standardized message, and she could even help come up with the message if you like, and I could forward it to the group and see what you think. If
Yeah.
that would work, and then she can,
Nice, like
yeah,
no personalized, no.
from the resident council.
Will we be including the name of the person who gave the donation? Because they might be expecting.
Yes, yes. So what I was envisioning is, so in the card, you'd personalize, so if I made a donation, say, you know, dear Jamie. So just to add at the top. And then find.
Oh, I
yeah.
meant the
Oh.
person who gave the gift. So if I gave the gift to you and I sent you a card, I might be expecting, when you open the card, if it doesn't say it's from me.
You don't know who it's from, it's a mystery.
That's an interesting question. You don't have to. Like often, so that's why you have a choice of, as the donor,
Whether the donor
whether you
gives
give the card, but if you ask Terrace Lodge essentially to send the card, it's, yeah, it wouldn't be, Dear Jamie, Dominique gave a donation on your behalf. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that? So it would, we could leave it as a mystery, sort of anonymous
Yeah,
donation, and then I would presume if it's me, then at Christmas, I would let, you know, my family members know, and say, by the way, this, you know, it's from me, or I did this on your behalf. Yeah, we'll leave it as, yeah, good point, though. In
yeah,
terms of
because
the-
if they're handing out the card, they would write the note.
Yeah.
And if they're not handing out the card, it's mystery.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we'll leave that. But yeah, so the idea would be definitely to add the name of the honoree. And I think that would add a personal touch as well. Okay. It's gonna be fun. So any other thoughts? Do you want it wouldn't take too long to reprint a form, like update our written form, just as a reminder to have 2 addresses if it's a gift. I think we have one form right now that everybody's been using for cash or check donations. Maybe we'll just circulate another one, so just there's enough lines, like to add two names and 2 addresses, just to be on the safe side. Is that good? Do you want to?
Yep.
Updated.
Yeah, because I don't remember where that list is.
Yeah, that would be a good, yes, Jim?
Since I've used it.
Yes, I have brought some checks given to me to the county building and given them to staff. And these checks would have had the name and address of the donor. Is more required of that than that at this time? Like this is a few months ago.
Yeah, so here it would be just in case somebody wants to give a donation as a gift.
Oh, I see. Okay,
when
yes,
you're
I
putting
understand. Yeah,
So as a Christmas gift, so then we're gonna need 2 sets of addresses, names and addresses, so, but otherwise, yes, I think what we've been doing so far has worked fairly well. I would say that for the checks, so the only challenge is when we get just a check without the form.
Yes.
Some people have their phone numbers on the check, many don't. And so I've been able to track people down on the internet if their phone number is published. But most checks don't have an email address, so the downside is it does cause a little bit more administration, because then the treasurer gets the receipts and we have to mail the receipts. So as much as possible, if you collect a check, whether it's for a gift or not, always remember phone number and email. That saves everybody a lot of time. But you're right, other than that, most checks have addresses on them, so that's been good. We have received checks out of the blue also, and which we're very thankful for, at the county, but with no paperwork. And obviously, so far, we've been able to process everything. A little bit of investigative work these days. You can track people down. So, great. So that'll be a good reminder. If we refresh that form, then everybody will have it handy, and it will be a good reminder to collect that information. Okay. So along with our Christmas campaign, at our last meeting, we talked about refreshing the website. So removing pretty much everything that's been quote unquote purchased, and doing a website and a catalog, an online catalog specifically focused on the Christmas items. So we have the chapel and the guest suite and dining. So Catherine's been hard at work already.
I have a little bit more to do.
Okay.
I still don't have time to do those changes you sent me today, but I will do them tomorrow afternoon, and then we'll be ready to go.
Yeah, so it's looking good. I've seen a preview, and so like it's basically as we discussed at the last meeting. So we'll have the three main sections. So the items are not grouped by value, dollar value. They're grouped now by rooms. And you can go in and see the value of, or see all the different items. And a reminder, a lot of them are big ticket items. But, so it's a reminder, and I think we still have the statement that you can make a partial donation. So you're making a donation toward an item, or you can just make a general donation, but so everybody knows this is what we're working on right now, and that's what we would really like to purchase. On that, while you think about any questions you have related to this, I know as part of the budget process at the county, we did a public consultation process, and there were comments about the Terrace Lodge in the county budget. There were comments about the Terrace Lodge fundraising campaign, and mentioning, and something we had heard before, but mentioning that it seemed like some of the items were pricey, and that we should do like a better job of getting better deals. And so a couple of things on that. So, we have the disclaimer on the website that says there is a chance, like these are just approximates, there is a chance we will negotiate, bulk prices and through different partnerships. So if you ever get that comment, as a reminder, these are not actual prices, they're just a ballpark. And the other important item to remind our donors who are looking at these prices is that even though we may be talking about curtains for a chapel, and you say, well, why would curtains be $6,000? And so you have to think about, this is a public facility that has very specific fire codes and accessibility codes, and the same with, chairs and tables. And so all of the furnishings that we are looking for, when you look at your local, retail store, and you look at the price that we have on the catalog, I could see why it could be, it's like, what do you mean? Like a stacking chair should be just $150. And I can see that, but we are having to buy many things from medical suppliers as opposed to, like I said, a regular perhaps office supply store. So remind all of your potential donors that obviously we will do our best to get the best price, and being, doing our utmost to make the most of all the donations, for sure. So we're not just buying anything. It's like, we'll buy the most expensive curtains there are. We'll buy obviously good quality, because we want them to last, so that, again, the investment is a good one, but also we have to meet a lot of different requirements. So let's keep that in mind. Anything else on the catalog? I think the other piece I circulated was an updated flyer also. If you wanted a printed copy of all the items. So if you haven't seen that, I can resend it again. It's just a little PDF that you can print for yourself if you want to make photocopies. And we tried to make it look a little Christmassy, but again, it's got the chapel and the guest suite and the dining area. So you've got those handy, and again, sometimes it's nice to be able to mention a few specific items as we try to push for the end of the year. Questions, comments? Okay. So that, do you think by the end of the week, we have a bit of time for the catalog? You're saying you want to do a few more edits, but,
Oh, yeah, I'm hoping to finish it tomorrow afternoon.
oh, okay. So as soon as we go live with the updated version, we'll send a reminder. So I'm thinking maybe we'll try to do it all in one email when we send you it's the same link, but just a reminder that it's ready and live with the updated form, and we can send the catalog, the little flyer catalog. Okay, good. So another email to be expected soon. And being ahead of myself, I covered the Rising. So we had talked about updating the letter, the donor letter, along with what I'm calling the Christmas flyer with the key items that we're looking for the Christmas blitz. So everybody received that, and we'll circulate that again. Okay, so anything else you can think of, anything that you need to help with the push of the next few weeks, or any new business? Everybody's recovered from Halloween, from the time change, the total darkness, the snow. It's here.
Sorry.
It's here. Just, the little snow last night, just to put you in the festive mood, right? Because that's what snow does, right?
Unless you have to shovel it.
Yeah. Exactly, on the bright side. Well, if there's nothing else, then I'll entertain a motion to move into closed session to discuss specific, let me read that quote, personal matters about identifiable individuals, including municipal local board employees. And the main topic is our donor outreach update. So a motion to move into closed session, please. Mover and seconder, Jamie, Ruth Ann. And you have to call the vote.
Pete Barber,
Yes.
Jim Jenkins,
Yes.
Jamie Chapman,
Yes.
Ruth Ann Perrin,
Yes.
Counselor Jiguer.
Yes.
5-0, the motion is carried.
Okay, so just a moment.
We're live.
And we're back, thank you. So need a motion to rise and report? And do we do one motion? I always forget to receive the update at the same time, or there is
Should do two.
two different ones? Okay, so a motion to come out of closed session, rise and report. Mover and seconder, please. Pete. And the seconder, Jim. Call the vote, please.
Pete Barber,
Yes.
Jim Jenkins,
Yes.
Jamie Chapman.
Yes.
Ruth Ann Perrin,
Yes.
Counselor Jiguer.
Yes.
5-0, the motion is carried.
Okay, can I have a motion to receive the donor outreach update? Mover and seconder, please. Ruth Ann and Jamie are my two tag teams here.
Pete Barber,
Yes.
Jim Jenkins,
Sure.
Jamie Chapman,
Yes.
Ruth Ann Perrin,
Yes.
Counselor Jiguer.
Yes,
5-0, the motion is carried.
excellent. Thank you for that. Excellent meeting, excellent discussion as always. Next meeting, do we want to meet again in December and touch base? Or do we put all of our time and efforts on the fundraising side and we regroup in January? We talked about meeting earlier in January to kind of do our reflection and reporting. Thoughts on December, Jim?
Yeah, I would say, I think the January meeting would be appropriate, given all the things that are happening in December. That was just my opinion.
Thank you for that. Other comments? Preferences? Nathan?
January.
I support Jim's line of thought.
I think January would be good.
Okay.
January is better for me.
Yeah, I think this one came up very quickly, which was which was intentional. We wanted to be like right at the beginning, so now we are all informed. It certainly pushed us to get everything done for this week. So the ads are ready, the greeting cards will be ready, the website is ready. We are ready. So I agree, let's put our effort and our time on promoting those ads and putting all our efforts in the fundraising aspect. And then we'll circulate suggestions for dates and times for January. And we'll be in touch, right? Over the next few weeks, we can coordinate as via email. So watch your email. That's the way we'll keep in touch for between now and the end of the year. If there are any questions and anything that comes up, any opportunities, another dominoes surprise, you never know who may decide to jump in. So yeah, so let's keep an eye on our emails and we'll come back by email with suggestions for January rather than trying to select a date right now.
Okay.
That's okay. I'm thinking probably like second week of January, so not the first week.
Now, if we have it the second week, we can't have it in the evening because
Right.
it will be Central Algonquin Council.
Right.
If we have it the first or the third Monday, well, the first might not work at night,
Right.
it might still be on holidays, but if we have it the third Monday, then
Then that could
we
work.
can have the chambers in the evening if we need them.
What are your thoughts on the evening? We hadn't done an evening meeting in a while. Did that seem to work a little bit better? Yeah, Jim says yes. Pete, that seems to be a bit better.
It works better for me, yes.
Jamie,
It doesn't matter.
doesn't matter. Ruthann,
It doesn't matter.
flexible.
If it's snowy and blowy, I won't be in.
Well, yeah, and so we'll have the option of, everybody doing electronics if the conditions are not so great. So you know what? Why don't we tentatively say the third Monday?
The 17th.
So the 17th of January. I know, time flies.
Having fun.
At 7 p.m. And with the intent of being in touch. And so we can support each other. If you need anything, if you need flyers, if you need anything at all, we'll be there for each other for the next little while. Okay, we can do this. We can reach our goal. We're at 58%. So one more push and then we'll regroup in January
We're at 58%
of this year,
of this year.
this year's goal. Yes.
What is the goal for this year?
225. Yeah, so I think this last push of it's under 100,000, like all the items that for the chapel, the dining room and the guest suite, that would get us there. So we need to help people a little bit of how important those 3 rooms are really throughout the year and especially at Christmas. Okay. I know, I make people choke up. All right, thank you so much for your time and for everything that you're doing all the time. I know for me, it's always on my mind. It's always, so there's always something to be doing, thinking about. So I appreciate everybody doing that as well. All right, so motion to adjourn. Jamie. Ruthann. The vote, please.
Pete Barber,
Yes.
Jim Jenkins,
Yes, and Merry Christmas.
Jamie Chapman,
Yes.
Ruth Ann Perrin,
Yes.
Counselor Jiguer.
Yes.
5-0, the motion is carried.
I will echo that. It's probably my first time saying it out loud this year. Merry Christmas. Please be safe and have fun, and we'll see you in January.
Take care, people.
Good night.
All the best, folks. Bye.
Thank you.